It's time for the Film Crickets with Jay Fortier, Chris Martineau, and Melanie Howerton. On this week's episode, we used to say, hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but now we've got the third co-host from the Breaking the Ice podcast, Isaiah Moskowitz. Jay, Chris, Melanie, and Isaiah review the 1999 American black comedy film, Office Space. And, hey, don't touch my stapler. Does it stand the test of time? Let's find out. Your Film Crickets are on now.
All right. Hey, friends, and welcome to the Film Crickets. It's a podcast where we talk about movies from 1980 to 1999 and decide beyond a shadow of a doubt whether or not these movies stand the test of time. I am your co-host, Jay Fortier, along with my good friend and co-host, Chris Martineau.
Good day, Jason.
Hey, good day.
Good day, Jason.
And we are also joined by good friend and co-host, Melanie Howerton.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Still
Good day, Melanie.
Still trying to get rid of this cough, actually.
Hang in there. But we're honored today, man. We have Isaiah Moskowitz. He's from the Breaking the Ice podcast, and we're excited to have him. Welcome, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. This is fun.
Yeah. This is cool. We're talking about Office Space from the right on the cusp of 1999.
Right?
Yep.
I was listening to your intro and you told me, I'm like, oh, why don't you pick a movie from like the last second of the 1990s? Okay, we'll go with Office Space.
What's the release date was December 29th, 1999.
Right. They snapped that in just before the turn.
Just made it.
Wow.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, we're all watching Office Space and getting ready to, like, our computers to blow up.
Well, it's actually on the subject. Like, it's actually worked into the thing. Yeah.
Yep.
That was actually part of the movie.
Remember that?
He was part he's like trying to explain it, and he was like, yeah, never mind.
So Isaiah, not to get into, so this is your pick, right? So we invited you on the show, and you went with Office Space.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yep. So we're going to get into why the pick in a minute, because we were talking off air about your history with the movie. I'd like to go with everybody else's history in the movie first. So I'll start with Melanie, but the open-up question is, when was the last time you saw this film? What is your history with this movie? Did you see it in the theater? Did you watch it a lot? Like, basically, where does this sit with you as a person? So Melanie, you, Office Space, tell me about it.
I never heard of it before, and just watched it for the first time last night on Freevee TV.
Okay, so never blipped your radar at all.
Mm-mm.
I dare say that happened a lot. I believe the movie tanked at first. I don't think a lot of people went to go see it at first, so we're going to talk about that later. Jason, what's your deal with Office Space?
I saw it back then. I liked it. And it was the last time I saw it, though, besides last night and it doesn't mean I didn't like it a lot. I had fun with it. It's just, sometimes the stuff doesn't remain on your gotta watch it again radar, like where you're constantly revisiting. But no, it was, I liked it then, I remember. And years went by, and I've never forgotten the moment that Dietrich Bader said, 2 chicks at the same time. Like when they asked him what would he do with $1 million, and I crystal clear remember the response when he says, "What would you do?" And he's like, "Besides 2 chicks at the same time."
Yeah.
And I just thought it was great. Like, it was such a great, like, okay, well, there's that.
Yeah. But what about the rest?
But he is, and we'll get to everything else, but he is an underrated comic actor, I think.
He's very good.
Oh, God. The Drew Carey show?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
So good.
But, it's almost like time ticks on and people forget how great he was there. You know what I mean?
What was that show they all did, the improv show?
Whose line is it anyway?
Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, they're all in it. All the whole crew from Drew Carey was the host, obviously, but he was, he is just such a redneck neighbor. It's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, he's very good at it, yes.
That was funny.
I wonder if he actually had to grow a mullet. So, Jay, it was theater. You saw this in the theater.
No, I rented it. Sorry. Yeah.
You rented it. Okay, got it. All right.
Sorry.
So, my deal with this was I knew it existed. I had no impetus to see it. And then right around when everybody else was rediscovering the movie, my ex-brother-in-law, popped it in when we were over my ex in-laws' house. Because he was of the age.
That sounds like a therapy conversation right there. A lot of exes.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of X's. That's okay.
Sorry.
So that was the last time, and I remember there was a lot of laughing, and I remember that there were some things that I liked because it was new and fresh and odd. No doubt about it that it was odd. And it was kind of shocking that that this person, again, I'm not going to get into detail, but I'm like, you think this is funny, huh? I was just shocked to me that it's funny. So I saw it the one time, and then that's it. I'd never seen it again. But it's like one of those movies that keeps getting quoted. It's like the pre-Anchorman. Like everybody had. I started teaching in 2000. Kids were still saying, "You're going to see my O face." So that was still in the zeitgeist. It was still in the zeitgeist. And that character, as sophomore as he was permeating high school. Right, that was around the same time as with the 5 finger state of the face. Slap. I'm Rip James, bitch.
Yep.
That one was kind of floating around, right? So that's my history with it. I watched it yesterday, and that was it. So now Isaiah, I'm having you go last because it seems like you have a more storied past with this. I'd like everybody to hear it, if you don't mind. What's your deal with Office Space? What's your history with it?
I back in probably right around the time it came out, 99 or 2000. I'm working at a radio station in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and we had trade with this place called Video Update, like a junior Blockbuster, if you will. And we go over there and rent movies all the time. I think DVDs came out. That was the big deal right around there. Whatever. But I was going in there renting various movies, and this kid who I built a relationship with because he would listen to me on the radio and I would talk about all the stuff that I would watch. He reaches out and he goes, "You got to watch this." It was not something on a shelf. It was not something that was like, it probably made $4, when it came out, but it was, he's like, "You've got to watch this." He understood my dry sense of humor or whatever. And he's like, "Check this out." And I put it in and was like, well, and at the time I hadn't done anything except the radio side of it, the on-air personality. Like I didn't see the corporate side of it where it's like, if you go to a Cube every day, that is just, wow. The way they depict that is like awful. But I watched it and laughed and thought that Ron Livingston was just great at his dry humor. And I certainly recognized Stephen Root, Mike Judge, who did Beavis and Butthead, and all the stuff. I watched it and was like, holy shit, that's a weird, like, okay, that's, but I laughed and I watched it a few more times over the years. And as I ended up getting more on the sales end of things in radio for a few minutes, radio's still a fun world, but you go in, and it's the same shit. And there's the boss. And there's okay, we're going to have a birthday party. It's Hawaiian Shirt Friday. And you're like, oh. And the scene at the beginning with like getting to work is murder. And it just, and again, nobody's winning any Oscars. It just I guess that's how those movies become these cult classics of something grabs somebody somewhere and then someone talks about it. Now, if social media were a big thing back then, it would have been through the roof. And I'm sure maybe that's how it might still be alive. But that's kind of where I was like, when Jay said, what movie? I said to my wife, I'm like, all right, I've got this thing. I'm on this cool podcast. We're going to talk about movies. And she's like, it was between that and one other movie. I'm like, we got it. Actually, I said it to you, Jay.
So I Married an Axe Murderer was the other one.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Right.
I love that. What funny as shit that movie.
So
I'll come back and do that one later.
Blame me.
No. This is a good one.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll come back in a couple months and we'll do that.
No, I meant not you. I just meant if they're disappointed. But I felt that this one might like get more of a jolt from people because it seems to be like a cult classic.
Well,
like
and if you start to look into Ron Livingston and his role in Band of Brothers and his role in a show that I said to Jay, which maybe you guys never saw on Amazon, called Loudermilk. It's another one of those kind of cult classic things. And Loudermilk has a bunch of really good people on it, but it just didn't get picked up by Amazon for whatever reason. And Ron seems to find himself in those kinds of movies where he's that, kind of, oh, woe is me. This is except Band of Brothers. That's a totally different role. But I just thought it was I'm like, let's talk about this because we walked away from it today, going, oh, that's cute. It was funny. I mean, again, nobody's winning even a fraction of an Oscar, but silly to talk about, right?
I would put my 2 cents in for Stephen Root. He is a very dedicated actor.
Dude.
I've listened to interviews with that guy. He is all about the craft.
His role in news radio.
Yeah.
I mean, the program director, or the owner of the station, because the other guy from Kids in the Hall was the program director. Whatever.
Yep.
I mean, I would go and Phil Hart.
Yeah, Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yep.
Phil Hartman. I mean, my God, just the whole that show was and Root was.
He was
1,000% different from the Milton role in this.
Yep.
His
the way he gets into character, he doesn't care what it is. Like this is the character, and I've heard him talk about directors.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't want a director telling me how to say things. Like you have to trust me in the way that I have developed this character and how this character reacts to this situation. And he's probably saying about Milton.
Right.
Like think about that. Like that's what I mean. So he is dedicated, whatever it is, to research how Milton is. He's probably come up with a backstory.
Oh,
Milton.
Well, if you look at Mike Judge and I'll but just the cartoon the cartoon Milton, that's what this show was based off of.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
And that thing is just a guy coming to work. It sucks. Corporate America. And so he's not the main character in it, but that's Judge's thought with Milton. And you've just got him with the thick glasses and the stapler, all the crazy shit. I just think it's funny.
Well, before we get too far into it, I want to do the one sentence breakdown, and then we're gonna. I kind of have an opening question. It's not a deep one this time, but I do have an opening question. Then we'll start talking about the movie. Office Space came out in 1999, rated R, 1 hour and 29 minutes. In one sentence, I don't know. 3 company workers who hate their jobs decide to rebel against their greedy boss. Period. All right. Mike Judge is the auteur on this. He is the writer and director, based on the Milton animated shorts, starring Ron Livingston, Jennifer Aniston, Mike Herman, Ajay Naidu, Dietrich Bader, Stephen Root, Gary Cole, and anybody else of note.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like
There's
a bunch.
There's a few.
John C. McGinley. Oh my God. Who's the best ever in all things. But we have a lot of people going on in this movie. It's amazing that we have a foundational cast like this, and it didn't really go anywhere in the theaters. So the question then, is this movie, and I think Isaiah was going on about it, and let's just talk about it. This movie is not set in the real world. It is a cartoon. Is it not? I mean, all the characters are caricatures. They are 100% that person. You have Stephen Root, who's the weirdo. You've got Ron, who is the slacker. You've got the Indian guy, who's the computer software guy. You have the white guy that listens to gangster rap. The bosses are so Michael Bolton. Yeah, I'm sorry. I blanked on that. You got the boss. You have the guy, the downsizing guy. You have the company guy that's been there 30 years. They're all absolute caricatures. And I think this movie is silly, obviously, but it's silly because I don't think it takes place in the real world. The license plates are not of any state. It just says USA on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's almost like this. It doesn't, like, the corporation doesn't exist. Like, it, to me, doesn't. It's almost like its own alternate reality. I'm not saying it's the Matrix, but it's almost like it's this place that only works by these cogs. I don't know. Anybody, like, I'm not saying it's a theory. I'm just saying, like, you have to approach this movie like it's a fantasy, like it's a cartoon. I don't know. Am I nuts? I'd say I hit it.
Have y'all ever worked in the real corporate shit world?
I have.
No.
And I can relate to this. I worked at Fidelity Investments in a cubicle for years. So a lot of the things that they were doing, I'm like, yeah, I get that. Totally understand that. So yeah, 100% can relate.
It gave my wife agita because she works in it literally did, because she's like, because at the beginning of the movie, the first 15 minutes is literally just setting how shitty it is going in to this. You're in traffic. You go to this job that you absolutely hate. How many times can he talk about the TPS reports by 15 different managers? And he's like, I get it. And so for people that unfortunately have to go into those settings and live in the box, that's the reality of it. It's a fictional depiction of that mess.
Sure. And I would say that it's two observations on that. One, you are forced to, and again, I'm a teacher, so I've never been in a corporate world, but you are asked to do things that you know are pointless.
Right.
Yeah.
Like reports. I don't mean teaching. Teaching is super important. I'm just saying, like, the bureaucratic stuff that you have to do, that you do it and you know it's pointless, one. And two, the people that think it's important don't think it's important. They're just like, do this thing. I swear to God, like, how important do you? Who is gonna see this thing? This report that I'm making? No one.
Right.
Some of them I know, but like no one. Like no one thinks this is important, but everybody's pretending it's important. That's the first thing. And you're on your way to that job. You're in a rush to get to a place that you don't want to go to in the first place.
Right.
Right. And you're stuck in traffic, and you're trying. God damn! Like you're pissed off that you're not getting to that place that you actually despise.
Right.
Isn't that a weird thing that weighs on you? Right.
Can I add to that?
Go.
I think that it would happen to him daily just because he wants to be at home as long as he can until he absolutely has to leave the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What I'm saying is, if traffic sucks like that, then you got to leave like an hour earlier or whatever, just so you're not that stressed. What I'm saying is though, I understand why he's stuck in that traffic, because he is waiting as long as he possibly can before he has to leave the house.
Right.
And he's still pissed because he could have done this, but he's gonna do this daily.
Well, and a couple of the posters for this were, it's Stephen Root looking behind the guy covered in, Post-it notes, right? And one of the tops is "Work sucks." That's the thing. It's
I saw that.
For everybody that's out there in a world where you go, oh, Jesus, living Christ, I have to go to do this again. And you get in and you sludge in. And then if you just walk through the first few minutes where he gets into his desk, he sits down, he hears that woman's voice who's like, thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. 8 hours. It's a miracle you don't come in with a shotgun. And it's just, it's oh my God. It just, I didn't have to do that. Thankfully, even the radio sales world was still fun and energetic like radio is. But there were definitely times where you're like, oh, here we go. And certainly the downsizing, because I was in radio for a long time. And as it got to the corporation side of things, you have to go in and you have to meet the bobs. So tell us what it is you do here.
Right.
And I love the fact, though, that Peter's character is an absolute I don't give a shit. And they're like, he's good for upper management. That just shows you how jacked up the whole system is. My wife is watching it going, this is my job. This is my job. This is my she's not that she's in a queue, but when you hear that, like, okay, let's use the words, we're going to re-energize the group today. And you're like, oh my God. When they put that big sign up, it's like, is this good for the company? Is it good for my mental well-being? It should be the question.
And these things, like when people try to force positivity on you, it actually makes it worse.
Positivity should just happen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You cannot synthesize positivity.
No.
If you start to get like, it's that lady that says, well, there's nothing wrong with a person that comes by and says, good morning, have a good day, like the redheaded lady. Right? But there's nothing wrong with that sentiment. That's being polite. But when you hear that voice and it's forcing positivity, it makes you want to shoot yourself in the face. Like, no, just let me. I just want to do my thing. This is how I'm going to cope. If I needed help, if I needed positivity, I'd ask for it. I'd seek you out. I don't want to hear it right now. I just want to do my thing and go home, and that's it. Right. Just let me do my thing.
And then you get someone that comes by and goes, "Oh," you say something remotely negative. "Oh, it looks like somebody's got a case of the Mondays."
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Really.
Yep.
And on the other side, I love how the Jennifer Aniston character is working over at Tchotchke's or whatever. It's basically a Chili's, and it's about the flair. And her boss is the same dick who can't. Well, you don't have. You have minimum 15 flair on your and she's just like, this is brutal.
Melanie.
What?
Do you have something on that? Because I know something about it, but I don't want to.
Okay, what is it? Because I only have 8 things. So what is it?
No, on the flare.
When Jennifer
Aniston. The flare. Go ahead now.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston working at their. The point is, you see it from 2 different sides now. Now you've got the corporate world of a tech company, but then this girl's just trying to be a waitress, and her boss is doing the same silly shit. Where he's like, let's discuss how many little pieces of flair you can have on your suspenders. And she's like, I don't want to work here.
Yeah. So TGI Fridays used to do stuff like that. And because of this movie, they did away with it. They
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So like like almost like where they became sort of like, okay, like self-aware of saying,
how
okay,
stupid it is.
we look a little like, so let's like, dial this down because obviously people are miserable. So
That means that somebody actually saw the movie. I
right.
love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
funny.
So I just didn't want to steal any thunder because you only got like 8 things for the TMI. So
this is not TMI, but on another note, the whole Milton cake situation there brought back
Oh.
memories of being at Fidelity because everyone knows I like cake. So,
Everyone knows. I wear a fucking T-shirt that says "I love cake."
yeah, there's literally always.
But you knew that.
Somewhere there's always somebody like there was like a bunch of floors, and you had the little. You had the little thing with your little tag that you had to scan through to get into different parts of the building. You slid it to get, access to different parts of the building and everything. And like everyone, like every time there was a cake, they'd be like coming into my queue, Melanie, there's cake on the 3rd floor. There's, whatever. But there was always like, it was always, it cracked me up because it was always somebody's birthday. It was always somebody's going away. It was always somebody's getting married. It was always somebody having a baby. It was like there's a freaking cake every single day. And the first thing I said when I saw that cake, the first thing I said when I saw that cake was, "That's not a big enough cake for all those people." Immediately I said that, and he's just sitting there like hoping he's going to get a piece of cake. And of course, like everybody gets a cake around him. They're keeping the cake. They're not passing it along, and he's the only one that doesn't get a piece of cake.
Yep.
Well, it all adds to the purpose
yeah,
of how he snaps. It all just and I noticed that he's told by the redhead to keep passing, and the last moment, the woman to his left, she didn't pass the cake.
And my husband noticed that. He goes, "She didn't pass it."
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if you pick up at what point in the movie Milton goes from mumbling to I'll burn the building.
Yeah, he slips it in real fast.
Turn the light off on him.
He literally throws out 3 or 4 of those where he's like, my option is burning the building.
Yeah.
And it's so quiet, so mumblish that you're like, it's like you're pushing a Joker character back in the day. He'll snap after a while. Don't do
It
it.
remind me of the going postal type of thing. You know what I mean? Like he's
Right.
only going to take so much before he just snaps.
What was that movie with Mike
Falling down.
Falling down.
Same thing when he was in the traffic, and he gets out and yells at the construction workers, "Tell me you're not doing anything." You know what I mean? You're not doing anything.
There's nothing wrong with this road. There's nothing wrong with this
he
road.
lost
Exactly,
shit in that movie. All right, we have 2 other movies way down the line to go.
Yeah.
So I Married an Axe Murder and Falling Down because wow.
The falling down, that was
And
bad.
I digress.
And I digress.
Well, it's funny. First off, that goes to show you what a blip they treat him as. Like because he's standing there. They told him to push it on and that he'd get it last or later, and then they still, even if, like, by the way, when you get down to the last piece and there's 2 people, you cut that in half if nothing else. Right. And so they kind of treated him like that, but like you also hear him say it too. It's funny. He's like 1 cubicle away from Peter. Is it Peter?
Peter.
Yeah.
Peter.
And he's talking to him on the phone, like, and then you can hear it through Peter's phone. He's like, "I'll burn the building down." He says it on the phone to him, which is outstanding.
Peter's trying to take his neighbor's advice to get the hell out of the office before 5,
So he's
otherwise
not
you're going to
listening.
get bagged for Saturday.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes. And Milton's yammering on the phone. I'm like, and the camera goes over. I'm like, he's literally talking to Peter a cube away.
Right.
And Peter's like, I love you. I got to get the hell out of here before Lumberg sends me here on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, how about with
That's
Milton,
awesome.
when we find out by the 2 Bobs that Milton's job really was supposed to be laid off the last time that they came here, and there was some sort of a glitch that he was still getting paid. So they're like, we fixed the glitch. So basically, they fixed it, but they're still not going to tell him that he's fired. They're just going to let him just figure out eventually that he's not getting paid. And the boss knows that he's not getting paid and that he's not supposed to work there anymore. But yet he sends him down to the basement and makes him set up a whole new desk and then leaves him down there in the dark, knowing he's not going to get paid. He doesn't belong there. He's not going to get paid. But instead of telling him to pack his shit and go home, you're not getting paid, I think he'd rather know that than have to go downstairs and work not getting paid. So he's such an ass.
And asked him to watch the cockroach population.
Yes.
And like that's your final where they shut the light off because that's when that's and he speaks so softly you have to go back if you missed it just and listen to him go, Okay, that's the last
Yeah,
straw.
I heard it.
Yeah.
That's the last straw.
Yeah.
And in the very, very, very end of the movie, when I won't say where he is yet until we get there, the things he's saying to the person on the
Yes.
beach are the same mindset of like, I ordered this drink, I didn't get this drink, I asked for this drink, and you know, like I could write a letter to this. I'm like, that is dude, like you said, Chris,
Yep.
he is into that
Oh yeah,
character.
100%, 100%, and he's. I don't even know that he has the lines prepared. He just knows that that's what Milton would say at that moment.
Improv.
Yeah, and then throw in the fact that he's going to put arsenic in the guacamole or whatever it was.
That was the very last
Yeah.
line of Office Space.
Yep.
I will put arsenic into your guacamole.
Yep.
Like
What?
No,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Get the man the drink he asked for Christ's
no doubt.
sake.
So
He just took $305,000 down to the islands. He's going to spend it.
let's talk Dietrich Bader. Is he well, first of all, he acts as the neighbor in Home Improvement. Except we do see him at times, but most of the time he's just like
Except a lot more lowbrow.
Yeah,
a little lowbrow, yeah.
Wait, which one is he in this one? Which one is he in this one?
He's the neighbor.
The mullet guy.
He's the neighbor. He's the guy that was at the Drew Carey show.
Oh yeah, I know.
The
but
mullet.
I thought you said Home Improvement, the neighbor.
No,
Oh,
he's
no, he's
acting
saying,
like he's
Same kind
okay.
of character.
All right.
yeah.
Except you only see this.
Right.
I don't care, what was that guy's name?
I
I don't
Wilson.
remember.
Yes, Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Oh wait, is that Wilson in Castaway or Wilson in?
no, different.
No,
No,
no, it was
different.
Wilson.
One was made by Voight, and one is a person. So So what's interesting about him is that he's acting as a friend, but I don't know that he never gives him any bad advice. You'd think he would be giving him bad advice to tell him to go steal. Does he give him any bad advice? I don't think he does.
He bailed on him when shit got tough.
Oh, yeah. That's what I wanted to bring up.
So yeah, he didn't give him bad advice, but he bailed on his ass when he knocked on the wall, and they were all like discussing like, this is shit.
Yep.
And they all walked off going, we're going to go to, hold on, sorry, federal pound you in the ass prison.
Yep.
And all that shit. And it was like, and he knocked, he goes, you want to come over? He goes, no, man, I don't need you screwing up my life, too.
Yeah.
An asshole.
But what's neat?
I see it though. I see it in that sense because like it's almost like it's a little too infectious. Like I'm afraid that this is gonna carry over.
But what I like about that moment when he talks about that is that the whole joke is the walls are thin, so you can hear absolutely everything that's going on. So whenever we hear him through the wall, it's like at full audio. Like it's almost like he's in the room.
Yeah.
But the one time when
this paper that's separating the two of them.
No, man,
When
I'm
they're
over
talking
here.
about money laundering, and he yells, "Hey guys, I won't say nothing either."
Yeah.
Like what the
Yeah.
fuck?
But when he says when he does bail on him, it's the one time he actually trails off. It actually gets softer, like he's leaving.
Well, it's like he rolled over.
Yeah.
He rolled over.
That's so funny. It's like that. I thought that was very clever. And also, if he's acting kind of as his conscience a little bit, even his conscience is kind of pulling away. Like, yeah, you're on your own now, pal.
Well. Think about what not gonna work here anymore said when he walked out. He goes, "You're a bad man, Peter."
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the dream he had?
Yep.
The judge says to the other two guys, "You're going to a minimum of 4 years of federal pound you in the ass prison." And then they get to Peter, and all to see a judge say it, and then all the judge says is, "Peter, you're a bad man," and slams the thing down. So for him, for him just to basically say, "You're a bad man," I don't want any rolled over. And you're right, the audio goes away.
Yep.
That was planned.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Very well planned.
100%. So it's got a lot of those. It does have a lot of subtleties about that, and that what I think is where you could have a movie that has this overt humor. It is rather subtle, which is maybe why it didn't take the first time in the theater, because it has to be.
It might have been ahead of its time.
Maybe.
I mean, really, Louder Milk's the same way, which is crazy, and it's a different kind of writing, and it's a different kind of way that we watch it. And if you're not into that, and it's not, this day it's TikTok, move, and if you don't like it, shit, no one's watching it. Like, I don't know if maybe it was ahead of its time. Maybe it's still kind of ahead of how people need instant gratification. They don't want to think. Like, you have to almost think about what they're saying.
Sure.
God forbid you put 5 minutes into thought in a movie.
I've already stopped paying attention to you, so I'm not sure.
also-
No, I'm just kidding.
Bastard.
I'm just kidding.
It also could have been like an indie to the point where it's not getting the press. It's not getting you're not seeing every preview. Who knows if it didn't get a ton of theatrical releases everywhere. So, it might have just been a victim of that too, like where it's just like it didn't really have a hell of a lot of a shot before.
Well, think about where Jennifer Aniston was in her career at that point. She hadn't done anything with Friends yet. She got she did get the
I think they said she was already big, but they
was she already big?
Yeah, he said he was starstruck.
When did they start Friends?
94.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I'm way off.
So
sorry.
No, it's all right. It was a big, it was like they got one, giant girl, as far as popularity. And
that's why she got the Jennifer Aniston at the end.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
So her debut was like Leprechaun. Like the debut.
Can you tell I'm not a huge Friends fan? I'm like, she wasn't around. You guys are like asshat. She was a star 6 years ago.
No one said
this isn't a show about Friends. Clearly,
no, but.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say just constant things that happen throughout the movie. It's not only, what is it called, PSI forums or whatever it is. It's not just, that's the name of the forum.
TPSP.
TPS reports.
So it's not just those forums that constantly somebody's saying something, but it's also the other guy that's in it. Nobody can ever pronounce his name right, or how everybody thinks that oh yeah, I can see that when he's talking about I think my girlfriend might be cheating on me. Yeah, I can see that. Like that just it's constant things that keep happening. Or the printer. I mean, I can relate to that stupid printer. Always either getting jammed, or it's either running out of ink, or it's running out of paper, and you're in a rush to do something, and there's no freaking paper, and then you got to go try to find paper, and then put the paper in and go try to find ink. It's like, and then I had to deal with microfiche all the time. So I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Oh boy!
I had to always deal with microfiche. You're like, oh, you need to go find this, and you're like, are you kidding? Like you had to take this, and I hated going in that room and like searching through 10 trillion things of microfiche. That was the thing that you just hated to do. Is like, okay, I'll be back in a few hours.
So that gangster scene when they destroyed the printer, you were okay with that?
Yeah.
That was actual perfection. That scene.
Yes.
Well, I'm not on what? What do you mean? No. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I said though. I was cringing, going, dude, don't punch it. It's metal and plastic. He's beating the shit out of it with his fingers, and I'm like,
think
dude,
about what
his fucking hands were hurt.
What they're pulling that from, though, they are taking that from a Goodfellas.
Oh no, I get it.
Scene.
Yeah.
And when they go out and do the bats, it's just like obviously you don't want his hand, but it was perfect where Michael Bolton goes back in for the kill and they're ripping him away, and then when they're walking back, dragging some wires with the trunk open, any gangster flick, you pulled that dumbass beat up person out, killed them in the field, and then dragged their jacket or some shit and put it in and said, we're out. We're going to go back to Tony Soprano.
And not only that, what I think is so good about that moment is that it's directed, whatever, it's all stolen ideas. But he's encapsulated it so well because Livingston. Thank you. He's playing the calm lead. He's like the guy in charge. You have Michael Bolton is a hothead. You have the other guys who's a little more thuggish, but the other guy loses his mind, and Ron Livingston is just, he doesn't even kind of look in that direction. He's always kind of like look the other way. He doesn't freak out. He's like in control, but being violent. Like it's just, they did such a good job with what they were trying to do in that moment of that, like you said, a curb stomp scene of somebody that you have to take care of. And it was, I always, that's what I remember most about that movie from when I saw it the first time, was that scene.
Think about that moment where I think that's almost like a Goodfellas moment, if I can use that one, because there's a scene in the cornfield, and I think it's Ray Liotta goes out, and they go out with Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci's out of his fucking mind. He's the Michael Bolton. Now. He's uncontrolled, because he's the guy in the restaurant. He's like, funny how, funny ha ha, and you're like, this guy's gonna lose his shit. But they go out in the field, and he's the one that gets the extra 13 punches to some. Okay, dude, he's dead. Like, it's okay. He's already gone. But that's the Michael Bolton, and of course, it's the guy with the Michael Bolton name. And you've got, like you said, Chris, you've got Peter, Ron, kind of pulling back like the Ray Liotta. It's just this, you've kind of mirrored the Godfather-ish style to killing a printer rather than a human.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was a printer, not a human.
Well, I also got to throw in, how great would it be to get hypnotized and have it be undone, where a guy doesn't finish, meaning he doesn't take you out, and you're just walking around going, yeah, man, life is awesome. Where you're just like, all your inhibitions, like, sort of, drift by. And like,
I'm just not going to pay my bills anymore. Okay.
Yeah, see, like, as stupid as that was, it ended up working out for him. So, I mean, like, where they started to give him a promotion. I mean, how unnerving would it be to face the two Bobs, the two guys that are like the overlook, like the overseers of they're the efficiency experts? Then you got to sit there and face them and talk to them. Everyone probably, that is here today has dealt with something like that, whether they worked for an office or not. They've dealt with something like, so what do you do? Like, so like from this time to this time, and that drives you fucking nuts.
Oh yeah.
So like you get to a point where you're like, you're second guessing yourself as you're trying to
Did
say
I do
it.
that?
Like,
wait a minute.
Like, that probably doesn't sound like a lot. So like you're like, how do I pad the fuck out of this to where people can hear it?
But
the fact that Peter can do that, and that's where everybody in Melanie, you working for Fidelity, Chris, you being a teacher, all the things, we've all been in a place where someone's kind of snooping around. But the best part about it is he don't give a fuck. And he's literally sitting there in flip-flops going, he gets his water, he sits down, he goes, what's one of the quotes? He's like, it's not that I don't want to try. I just don't care. Like, I just don't give it. Like to be able to look at your boss and go, I just don't give a fuck. This place fucking sucks, man. Yeah. I'm done. And frankly, you never motivated me. You did, and just to say the things that you'd want to say.
Yep. Oh my God.
Let alone, I hate the printer, Melanie. Right? Like, if you can't fix that shit, I'm out of here. But like, just to be able to have that moment of, and he walks by his boss at the end, and he just
goes around him. That's really good stuff.
Yeah.
But
bye, and he pulls his right around him. Bye bye. I mean, that's like that. That's the best part of it. Where I think that if it can speak to people in the corporate world of going, wouldn't it be nice if blank.
But also, and again, to pull back to another movie, like there's a lot of movies where like the person quits their job and I finally get to say the thing to my boss. Like I always think Joe versus the volcano. You look bad, Mr. Arturo. You look like a bag of shit stuffed in a cheap suit, and I know the whole scene, right? But in this one, what's interesting about it, and successful or not, is that Peter has now, because of the hypnotism, has become the Zen Buddhist. He has absolutely anything that comes through, he absorbs, and it goes right past him. He doesn't need to react. He doesn't. That's the whole point of Zen Buddhism. You don't react. You don't counter. You just let it happen, and it goes through you. And that's his whole thing. He doesn't have to be all, you guys suck. If you don't fix this printer, I'm out of here. Is like, I just don't want to do this. And that's his whole thing. Like you're not going to, wait, you're going to quit your job? No, I'm just not going to go. And I don't know that I'm not going to pay my bills. And he just has that Zen moment. Because at the end of the day, folks, I don't want to, this might not be a good mantra for anybody that has maybe some emotional issues. But at the end of the day, you really don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything but
I'm gonna butt in there. Because
go ahead.
It's just so weird you just said that, because like literally I just stress out about everything all the time. I worry about too much things. That's just how I am. I worry about everything. I worry about what I say to people. I worry about like what they think of me. I can't stand that. I worry way too much about what people think of me, and just everything. I just worry about everything, making sure everything's perfect, and I just drive myself crazy all the time, and probably people around me. But so
it's a little addition. Oh, and by the way, all the people that care about me as well.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so seriously, like literally Wednesday, I literally had just said to my daughter and my husband on Wednesday, I wish to God I could just go to somebody that would hypnotize me, if that's real, in any way, to make me not give a shit about anything at all anymore, and just except for the people that I love. Obviously, I'm not saying that, but I just wish that I could be hypnotized to just not care so much. And it's like I want that so much more than anything in the world. And then literally we were watching this last night. So I said that Wednesday, and then last night we were watching this. I'm like, God, I would love that. I would just love it.
Hold on, Melanie.
You know what?
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome for the movie suggestion. That it helped,
Yeah.
right?
Well, no, I had thought of that on Wednesday, but it was just funny that it's like I saw it on Saturday. I was like, man,
That's so
where
cool.
are these people? I want to meet these people. Just
And there was
Yep.
like a beam of holy light that
Yeah.
came
Yep.
down as she was watching it, going,
Yeah.
"Look at this!
Yeah.
Holy shit! That's what I
Yeah.
asked for."
yeah.
I
And
just
now,
wish
if
we
you
would
look
meet.
at her Google search from Wednesday on, therapists that can make this shit
Yeah.
stop,
Make it stop.
please, God.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Office Space. What the fuck?
Well,
That's exactly what I was asking for.
But I gotta say, but even with that moment when he kind of drops all of that stuff that, I'm not gonna worry about things that I can't control. Again,
He's playing Tetris.
Yeah.
Tetris.
Yeah.
Well, he goes, yeah, I'm real busy.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Exactly. I gotta go.
So-
Fall down.
but he doesn't.
Oh, so good.
He doesn't care, and he doesn't have any resentment at that
Yeah.
moment. He doesn't even resent his job. He's just like, I'm just not gonna do it. But
Yeah.
what I find curious is that's a really neat moment, but you can't really sustain a movie that way. So
Yeah.
when suddenly his friends are gonna get fired, suddenly he cares
Mm-hmm.
and has to
Right.
get revenge, which I thought was, I don't know that you could sustain a movie interestingly for the rest of the runtime with someone that just absolutely does, he has no inner conflict at all.
Yeah.
That doesn't make a
Right.
very good movie. It's just,
Well, he came back.
I know,
My
but
husband said he's supposed to be hypnotized. How is he snapping out of it so quick?
that's my point. Is that that's why I say it's a fantasy
Because
world.
sometimes the high wears off.
That's not how hypnotism works.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
hypnotized
Really,
right now.
Chris? Tell me, hypnotist. Are you a hypnosis thingamajiggy?
No, but thingamajiggy. Well, you obviously
All right, then.
obviously are an expert yourself.
No, God, no.
Thingamajiggy.
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 It's on Google,
Yeah.
right next to
It
the
is.
name hypnotist.
Yeah.
Type
Thingamajiggy.
in thingamajiggy and see what comes up. But you make a good point because he has to come back to reality. Because I don't give a shit would make it a 30-minute
Yeah.
movie, and he does actually go because when they get, all of a sudden there's $305,000 in his fucking bank account. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then he fights with his girlfriend. You fucking lumbar, really? Bah, all that shit. Like it goes south where he is like, I'm gonna go to jail. I'm sorry, federal pound you in the ass prison.
Yep.
I wrote that down on my notes, so I said that at least 4 times on this episode. But he does have a moment of coming back around. But I think at the very end, when he sees what he sees, he's kind of like, good, fuck him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Which is a cool thing to come back
I
to,
think
right?
a lot that brought him out of it too is he was picturing Jennifer Aniston with his boss. And his
Yeah,
brain,
ugh.
and I cracked up
With
so
the
bad
foot
because
up.
the look on his boss's face and how he's like, yeah, he keeps saying yeah over and over and again, and like that was so funny. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he's
That's
great.
the first
He's a
time
great
you
actor.
see him in the movie, and then everything is
Yeah, I love that.
how you whether he's seeing Milton or anybody. I think with that, when he's in front of the Bobs and they finally pull up his report and go, so let's discuss. It's not Peter, it's you. And all of a sudden he's like, yeah, like totally different. Yeah, he's like, oh shit, I'm bagged.
Yep.
Because now Peter can do whatever he wants, and I've
How
got no
great.
say.
Yeah.
Guys, how great is the barbecue? First up with that guy that got into the accident.
Yeah.
But I like the lawyer guy. Like when he's talking to them, and he's like, "Oh no, I know a couple of guys that are in the minimum security prison, and you either beat the shit out of the toughest guy in the yard or be someone's bitch."
Yeah.
Right? And then
Oh,
he can't handle the ice in his glass, like in
He
his cup.
freaks
He's
out.
like, huh. It's such a great scene.
And did you notice the whole time the guy's backyard, the giant
I
water
did.
tower in the
Yeah.
back? It's on like, look at this palatial estate with this nuclear, not nuclear, but it's just like this, like nice view. But then he did finally make his jump to conclusions, Matt,
That's true.
and he was getting a 7-figure deal. Except every bone in his body's broken, and as they're like, "Oh, look at him, he's really making out." He's not making out. He can't fucking stand up.
Yep.
They said it took him 2 hours to put that stuff on. I guess an EMT had to help him.
Sure.
Oh, without question. I want to know where the character is the O-face character, because the only little bits he has, or he's that douche in the office that walks around thinking he's the ladies' man, going, "Oh, she's gonna see my O face." All right, you're gonna be fucking single for like 20 years. And then he comes to that party and he's looking around and, oh yeah, so and so, and you better wear a condom because she's fucking everybody. She fucked Lumbar. I'm like, that. There's been one in every office.
Sure.
He's an asshat that literally to this day is still single.
Well, that's the
basement.
Yep.
Still at 45.
Yep.
Yeah.
The carbon of that guy works at Tchotchkes. Like there's a carbon copy of everybody of that guy in all the office places. So there's always that guy.
Well, except he's a little more of I wouldn't see the guy at Tchotchkes as that type of exactly. I think a little too much of a company man.
Well, it's the same energy.
The one at Tchotchkes.
It's just it's
like
the same energy.
Each one plays a different role, whether it's the redhead talking too much, answering the phone, or it's Mr. 45 Flares, or it's O-Face Billy, or it's the guy who got smashed by whatever the fuck. It's like it would no matter where I think they did a good job of going, no matter where you work and you are displeased with where you work, this is the type of shit that's around you and you want to go, can I just not fucking work anymore? Can I just not?
That's the people who say money can't buy happiness. I'm like, shut up.
I totally
would.
Seriously. 100%.
Buy me some happiness. I can think of a lot of things that I could do.
Yeah.
I think
what we
would
should
think
do
of things like that.
Yeah.
We should win the lottery and then we'll decide if it makes us happy or we end up doing stupid shit. Let us be to this. We'll put the film crickets on trial if we all win the lottery. We'll tell you how awful it is as the next episode is from some, tropical island.
Yes. Where we put arsenic and strychnine in the guacamole.
Yeah.
Yes.
People who say that have too much of it to begin with.
Yeah.
It's time for TMI with Melanie.
Listen to this. I am in the bathroom right before the movie starts. And I'm in the stall, and there's no toilet paper.
Mine are at home in a display case above my bed.
TMI, my friends.
TMI? Too much information.
Say don't go there, but that's lame.
Now, here's Melanie with your timeless movie info.
All right, Melanie. Here we go.
Okay. So it had a budget of $10 million and the box office was only 12.2.
Ooh.
Bad.
Rough. Yep.
Yeah.
No, but at least it didn't get under. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it had a 10 million box office. A 10 million budget, and it made 1.2. You know what I mean? Like,
the 2.2. Now that I know the timeline of Jennifer Aniston, that 2.2 went to her.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, so as of October 2008, the term ass clown was officially entered in Webster's dictionary, crediting writer Mike Judge for first using it in Office Space.
That's fun. All right.
20th Century Fox only agreed to produce a movie if Mike Judge could cast at least one famous name, which was Jennifer Aniston. She shot her scenes in only 2 weeks. Her name, Joanna, is not only her real middle name, but it was also one of her boss's name in Friends. This is kind of cute. Milton's red stapler was created for the film by the prop department because they wanted a bright enough color to be seen the whole time in the movie to draw attention to it. After the film was released, Swingline, began to receive requests from customers for red staplers. Having stopped offering red staplers several years before, they made a decision to start offering the color once more. Milton was actually based on a former coworker of Mike Judge. The coworker began talking about how he was going to quit his job because he had been forced to move his desk around too many times. The PC load letter scene. Remember when he's yelling at he's saying what the hell is this or something?
Yeah.
It was not scripted. He actually had more lines to say to Ron Livingston, but he was interrupted by the photocopier jamming and didn't understand what the error message meant. So they just kept it in there.
Nice.
One of the promotions for this film invited people in certain cities to watch and participate in the bashing of office equipment. There was also an internet campaign that linked to a website where people could expose their bad bosses. Orlando Jones based his character on his niece. According to Jones, his little niece would sell Girl Scout cookies door to door with a poor attitude.
Nice.
Mike Judge said after the film came out, although it was not a box office success, He received compliments from celebrities who enjoyed the film, such as Jim Carrey, who invited Judge to his house, Chris Rock, who left the best voicemail ever, in Judge's words, and Madonna took him out to dinner, and it became a cult classic once it got to video. That's it.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Another thing to add to that is the real Michael Bolton, I guess, had he liked the movie, and it was okay with and he actually did some skits where they show him sitting opposite like other people, like, and doing stuff from the movie. So like
that's awesome.
So I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see John C. McGinley as I mean, he wasn't like as douchey as he could have been. Like, you know what I mean? Like, usually he plays like usually an ass a lot. Like 90% of his roles are like jerks. So it's like when he plays a nice person, I'm like, oh, wow, somebody gave him something else. Like, so it's just kind of cool. But
this is good. I'm glad I helped you all reintroduce to this.
Yeah.
And Melanie, you've never seen it, so this is your first.
Well, you
just did some serious research there, which is cool. The Orlando Jones thing, man. That guy was in some movies after that.
Oh, and what am I going to do with 40 subscriptions to Vibe?
Vibe.
Right?
Vibe.
Oh, are you ready for Final Judgment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go.
It's time now for Final Judgment. Are you ready to rubber stamp this bitch? Here's the Final Judgment.
All right, now's the time where we talk about how well the movie holds up today. Well, let's start with Isaiah.
I think it holds up. I don't think the whole thing as an entire movie will not necessarily hold up, but bits and pieces as we've broken it down, I think make it hold up for sure. Like when you watch it, there's a lot of connections for different people in different places. So is that a good answer? Or are you looking for
no, that's cool. Fine. That's fine.
It's fair. Like there are bits and pieces pulled from it where you're like, yep, I get that. Overall, again, no Oscars, but I think it holds up. Yes.
Cool. Anybody else?
Chris,
I'll
you
go.
Okay.
Jay, go.
Actually, ladies first. Melanie, you go. Come on. If you guys can't figure it out, let her go.
I don't think she wants it.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna say that it does, and I think one, because like I said, it's taken on a life of its own. So the cult classic status, I think, makes it hold up as like, just by being that. I think the fact that people will hold on to it. I mean, I've never worked in an office, but it doesn't matter. I still related. I related to the fact that I would like to talk like that to some people, in the past, Melanie and I had the same boss. Boy, would we have loved to have treated her like that.
She was horrible.
Huh?
She was horrible.
I mean,
we
won't say
found
her
out
name,
how
but,
horrible she was when I was getting her. They were like, "Oh, you're going to get a new boss, and she's horrible." I'm like, "Oh, good."
That's a good start. That's a really comfortable start. So I
think there's no movie horrible bosses without Office Space.
Yeah, true.
And Jennifer Aniston's in it.
Oh my God!
Hey,
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's one of the bad bosses.
All right, so that's 2. It holds up.
I'll go quick. So, here's the thing. I want to watch the movie. Not a bad movie. It's silly. I didn't laugh as much at it the second time as the first. I was watching it I wanted to laugh more. I wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like it has the bones of something that would be humorous. I wanted to laugh more. I wasn't. I'm not saying it's not a good movie because of that. And I think the reason I was really struggling with it because it's the Anchorman syndrome. Like so many people quoted Anchorman to me that when I finally saw Anchorman, I didn't laugh at Anchorman that much. You know what I mean? Because I already knew it.
Yep.
And so this is kind of the same thing with Office Space. Even though I saw it, it was in the on everyone's tongue so much that when it, like watching it again, I'm like, oh, I've heard this so many times. So there's that part I was struggling with. Second, I don't even care about the technology. Whatever, it was 1999. I don't care about discs and floppy disks and all. Whatever, that doesn't matter. My other thing is that I don't know that would hold up because I think The Office has taken over for Office Space. And The Office is such a crazy hit, and the younger generation watches The Office more than they watch Office Space. And they watch British Office, then American Office, and then all the other movies, even though this is not set up as a single cam, but it's still the politics of an office. So I think if it had a cult following, I think the people that like The Office probably would take over from that. That's my problem.
For that.
That's why I think it wouldn't hold up as much. But again, I can't attest to that. I have no data on that.
Yeah.
All I can say
I have
is
something.
Go ahead.
Not for the not to.
No, go ahead.
You know, specifically on that, but the to mention The Office, Mike Judge was offered The Office as far as like, would you like to recreate this? This British show, and he didn't take on it. But here's the thing: the producer of this movie is the one who spearheaded the American Office.
Okay, so you can't have
The
Office without Office Space, but I think the fan base leans more towards The Office now than Office Space. That's all. That's all I'm going to say.
I wanted you guys to know that it's connected.
Yeah. That's all I'm going to.
So that's a does not hold up.
But only mildly. Like I usually am not wishy-washy. But I think for that reason, I think other things that it has borne, it takes over for it. That's all. Melanie Howerton.
You can do damage. You can basically make this a good or shit.
Yeah.
No pressure though. No pressure.
What do you think?
So I'm gonna say, like I said, I had never heard of it, never seen it. I actually was looking at the trivia before I watched it. And I was thinking, is Michael Bolton really in this movie? like
nice.
But anyway, so I kind of just wasn't that interested in the trivia. So I was like, this movie's going to be stupid. I just kind of felt like it was going to be stupid. But when I watched it, I surprisingly did, laugh throughout the movie, and I related to what they were doing because I did work in that situation. And so I thought it was cute. You know what I mean? But as I say that, like, I guess it holds up in a way where if there's a cult following and things have been created from it. But I think it's cute. I did laugh through the thing. I just personally wouldn't watch it again because I've seen it once, and it's not one of those things that I would think that I just have to watch it again. So and I like that kind of humor. I just think that it just kind of reminded me of Clerks, which I thought was kind of cute too. But as far as like, there wasn't too much going on. It was like they had cute parts throughout it, but it wasn't like too much going on with it.
That's a good
so
analogy.
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go, I guess, 50-50, I guess, in a way where, I don't know. You know how I have the hardest time with this.
Just say no. Just say it doesn't.
Okay. Yeah. I don't really think
Just say yes.
Just say no.
too much.
Say yes.
But but I think that people who liked it would always probably like it. I just think that there's probably more interesting things that would keep people's attention a little bit more if they had never seen it before.
So that
I like your reference to Clerks because that's not a no. That's not a yes.
No.
Chris,
that's a
settle
no.
down. She said 50-50.
Said a no. That's a no.
First of all, the last two on this were wishy-washy magoos, which means the movie didn't make you go, that was shit.
No, it didn't.
Right? Like, and I love your reference to Clerks because that's exactly the same kind of movie. Maybe I've seen that 1.5 times, but in my head, that's a cult classic, right? Why? Because they're playing hockey on the roof. It's black and white. Yeah. This guy's at the thing. It's the whole the silent Bob and all that bullshit. Yeah. But have I watched that 15 times? No.
Yeah.
But it's one you watch. It's like, now you go Caddyshack. I can watch that every single day that ends in Y. And we keep going.
Melanie does not.
Did you shit on that movie?
No, you know what?
Passion.
Boy, it's weird. We have a bad reception.
I literally hate it. I was watching that movie thinking, this movie sucks so bad. This movie's literally about nothing.
She didn't.
And I couldn't
She was afraid
stand. What's his? And I never told you this when we were watching Caddyshack.
Oh no!
The guy. What is that guy's name? That was
Rodney Dangerfield.
You know I hate him, but the other one, the one that was
Chevy
making
Chase.
No.
Describe him better.
Bill Murray.
The one who doesn't really get. Bill Murray freaking cannot stand his character in that whatsoever. I didn't find him funny at all. And I like him a lot and hated his character in that.
Wow, it's been really nice to be on the show.
Well,
it's weird. I'm getting a call and I have to go. No, I'm kidding.
2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing So I Married an Axe Murderer with somebody else.
Oh, fuck. No, I'm kidding. But hey, look,
I just hated that character of his.
I appreciate all that, and that's great. But back to what we were talking about, how the two of you both described this, that you can't exactly say it's Look, I don't love the thing. I love Office Space to death. I'm just
it
like,
wasn't bad. I would
I'm
never
like,
say it was a bad movie
right.
at all. I did laugh throughout
It's
it.
relatable.
Yeah, it's relatable, and I did laugh.
That's the
through
part
it.
that I want somebody somewhere. And look, in 20 years, there might not even be fucking offices. We goddamn people don't even go back to offices these days. But if you've ever sat in a cube like that and went, I would love to be able to tell my boss to go fuck
Or just
themselves.
walk right by them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's even better.
And my wife's the one that noticed he's wearing flip-flops.
Yes.
He's like, fuck this shit. I'm just like,
Okay, let me tell you, do you want to
Gutting a
talk about
fish.
Melody and the flip-flops? I never wore flip-flops, but I can't even begin to tell you how many times I got sent home for not wearing the appropriate shoes. It was insane.
Yep.
I had to go down to like some shoe store
Gotta
down
go.
the street and change my
She
shoes.
doesn't work there anymore, by the way.
No, it was
Obviously.
a constant thing. You can't wear
No, I wanted to make that clear.
Yes, you can wear open-toed shoes. I've talked to HR about it several times.
so
And it was like-
as this show does it, what do you call it?
Hold
Does
up.
it what? Does it
Hold up.
Does it hold up? Does it hold up or not?
I think
50-50.
I'd say we're 50. I'm more of
She won't commit.
me and Melanie.
No, but as a group,
As a group, we're 50-50.
when you put it out
I'm
there,
no. Melanie's kind of a no. You're a yes. Jay's a yes.
Yeah, actually, we don't usually do it as a collective unless it's all like 100%.
Yeah,
like,
we
you know,
don't do
like
it, yeah.
we never.
Alright.
We kind of just go. All right, well, Chris is this. Chris, like
Yeah.
everybody's got their own thing.
Okay,
you know,
so you can also
because
talk about
we
Killer
jokingly
Clowns
call it
from Outer
Final
Space.
Judgment.
Yeah, Killer
There you go.
Clowns from Outer Space is another cult classic, and Jay was 100% on board, loves it to pieces. And all the other three people were like, oh, God, no. Like,
What's this piece of shit? Yeah.
my God, this is awesome. Well, you guys have been awesome. This is listen. I thank you for having me on this, and thanks for
Absolutely,
letting
man.
me pick the movie.
No problem.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, absolutely, man.
Anytime you want me to, I would love. This was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I watched it. It was good. I wouldn't say it's not good. It's not
Yeah,
bad.
she's back on that again.
Yeah. It's okay. It's over.
I'm just saying thank you, and you're like, okay, the movie. CC still can't make a decision. Well, I don't want to say. I really, now that I think about it, Caddyshack might have been the best movie I ever saw.
No, that one, sorry.
Okay,
right.
we're done.
All right.
So, well, that was our show. I'd like to thank Isaiah for joining us today. And if you want to remind people about your podcast and anything else you're doing.
Yes, no, we do a podcast, Breaking the Ice, with Josh Dolan and Mike Shue, former WAAF friends of mine. So life is good. I'm on Twitter at IsaiahRock77. So tag me and all that stuff. But listen, I'm going to follow you guys. I just started following your show, and I can't wait to see more. You guys do a really good job. There's a lot of fun you guys have with this show. So keep doing it.
Very
Thank
much.
you, man. Also, like
You got
to
it.
thank Steve Lavoie for our vocal imaging and Draco and the Malfoys for our theme music. And please help us grow by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you can get notified whenever we release a new episode. And that's on YouTube. But we also do podcasts, like, it's audio elsewhere. So if you want to listen to us on the go, you can. And I am Jay Fortier. And on the behalf of Chris and Melanie, I'd like to thank you again for joining us here on the Film Crickets. And until next time, movies may not age like fine wine, but we drink it anyway. Bye.
Chirp about movies.